First thing you need to do is give it a name. You're gonna put in whatever name you want to call this file. For the moment, I'm just going to call it demo because it's demonstration, showing you what to do. Alright, so I write demo, I press enter, and we're done. All changes are saved in the drive, right? So it's automatically saved. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the basics of computerized spreadsheets. The power of spreadsheets on the computer is that the computer can do all the calculations. Okay, so that because the computer can do all the calculations, it makes things a lot simpler. Let's begin first. Let's say I've got some numbers here. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Let's say these are student numbers. These are student ID numbers. Oops, spelled that wrong. Student ID numbers. Now if these are student ID numbers, 1, 2, 3, let's say we go to 10. I can type all of this up to 10. I can put in 2, and then I can put in 3 and 4 and so on, or I can let the computer do it for me. How? Because that's the power of the spreadsheet, to let the computer do the work for you. So you click on the cell that you want. So these are called cells. Spreadsheets are made up of columns, A, B, C columns, and rows 1, 2, 3. The intersection of these is called the cell. So this is called A1. It's intersection of A and 1. This cell is called B1, intersection of B and 1, and so on. So if I click on this cell, I know that the value for this cell is 1. If I enter 2 here, the value for this cell is 2. 3, you can see the value here is 3. But I'm going to go to 10 by using a formula. All formulas must start with an equal sign. All formulas must begin with an equal sign. This is such an important rule. You must start with an equal sign. Okay? So equals. And then I'm going to click on 1. So you see A3. It says A3 because it refers to A3 here, the cell that I clicked on. And I'm just going to plus 1. So it's going to give me 2. I press enter, it's going to give me 2. So this means that I've got 1, 2 here. This is not the value 2. I didn't enter the value 2. This is just A3, add 1. So if I change A3, this is A3. If I change this to 3, this will become 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. You see? And if I change this to 13, this will become 14. And so on. But I'm going to just use this to go to 10. Now, what I can do is I can copy this all the way down. To do this, I click on the bottom bottom right hand corner. I click on this. I hold the button down, left click on the mouse, hold it down, and then I drag it. If I keep on dragging, it will go down all the way up down to 10. Now the formula changes. The formula automatically changes. So the first one that we wrote was A3 plus 1, but it will automatically change to A4 plus 1, and then A5 plus 1, and A6 plus 1, and so on. Because when you copy the formula, it will automatically move down as the cells move down. So I showed you one way to copy it. Another way is to do it manually. So you right click, copy, and then you can click on here and paste. It's the same thing to do it, right? So you can just click on Control V. So you can't do paste here, just Control V, right? And that would do it. So that is Control button. Hold the Control button down and V. Right? Hold the Control button down and V, and you hold the Control button down and V, and it will paste. Okay. Control button and V. That's what we're talking about. So this is an example of how to do formulas. So let's say that this is a student, and let's say that this is their fees. Let's say that this is $700, So these are the fees for term one. Term one fees. $700. $700. $800. I'm just going to put in some numbers here. 100, 200, 250, 760, 460. I'm just going to put in some random numbers so that we can have something to work with. Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch of numbers here. If you want to make a dollar sign for this, you can just select all of this. To select it, click on the first one. Hold down the Shift key. If you're using Windows, I'm using Windows, so I'm going to give you instructions based on Windows. Hold down the Shift key and click on the last one. So you clicked on the first one, hold down the Shift key, click on the last one. Alright, so click on the first one, hold down the Shift key, click on the last one, and it'll select all the cells. Then you can change the format. What you want to do is change this to currency, right? Dollars. So you click on currency, and there you go. Okay, so it's in dollars. This way, this will allow you to add and subtract the money. Otherwise, you won't be able to do that, because if you put in the dollar sign yourself, it thinks of it as text. So let's put in term 2 fees. All right, let's put in some extra amounts. I'm just picking some random stuff out. So once again, left click on the button, hold the shift down, hold the shift key down, click on the last cell, left click on the last cell, and you can format it to currency. Okay. So what can we do here? So what you've learned here is you've learned to use the formula. All formulas need to have the equal sign first, and formulas help you do the calculations. Let the computer do it, and then if something changes, like let's say the 1 changes to a 3, the computer will recalculate everything out, or add 1 to everything down. Okay, so that's the power of spreadsheets, and that's why we use spreadsheets on the computer, and it makes it a lot easier for the calculations. So in this case, we can add all of these up. So I can do something like this, equal, because I need equal to add them up, and I can add, but I can use sum. So sum is a simple version. So what this allows you to do is you can add everything from here to here. See the formula B3, this is B3, all the way down to B12, which is B12. So the computer, Google has given you that suggestion. So if you want to add all of these up, you use sum. Okay, and then you can just enter, and there you go. That's the amount. Right, that's when you add all of these together. So let's say I change this to 2000. What happens is that this will change. Right, that will change. So this is the sum. So just a couple of simple things. First, use formulas. Formulas start with an equal sign. Special functions like the sum function is a function inside Google Spreadsheets that adds up all the cells in between, all the values in between from B3 to B12, right? All this stuff here. Okay. So now, what if I want to do something a little different? What if I have something else? Let's say I have some numbers here. Let's say I have some numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if I multiply these numbers by these numbers? Right. So what I would like to do is take these numbers here, these numbers, I want to multiply by one particular number, let's say 100. So I want to take 1 multiplied by 100, I want to take 34 multiplied by 100, and so on. If I want to do that, let's say I want to do that here. So I want to take 1 multiplied by 100, I want to take 2 multiplied by 100, 3 multiplied by 100, 4 multiplied by 100. Well, let's use our equation. Equals, click on this cell, this is F4, and the multiply sign is the asterisk, shift 8, and I'm going to multiply by 100. This is going to give me 100. Now watch what happens when I copy this down. So I'm going to copy this down, and it's going to be all 0. Why is it all 0 here? It's all 0 here because if you look at these formulas here, they move 1 down, right? A5 plus 1, A6 plus 1. Okay, they move 1 down. This does exactly the same thing. What it's taken is that this is F4 here times 100. But if I move 1 down, this is F5. What's in F5? There's nothing in F5. So because there's nothing, it's just value 0. So 0 times 2 is going to be 0. Okay. So in order for us to fix this, right, we need to use a special notation. So these formulas are called relative formulas. I'll just write the word down here, relative. All right. These are called relative because when you copy them, they move with the cell. If you want to fix it, like this one, you want this to go down, 1 and 2 to go down, you want the rows to go down, but they all should be multiplying the same number, then what happens is that F4 you don't touch because you want that to move down, but the J3 here you have to fix it. How do you fix it? You put your $ in front of the column and the row. Okay, if you do that, what happens is that you are fixing the $ in front of the J, fixes the J, so it doesn't move anywhere. It fixes this column. The $ in front of the 3 fixes the row, so it fixes this row. So if you fix both the J and the 3, you're going to fix this cell. It can't move left or right, and it can't move up or down. There may be situations where you want it to move down but not left or right, in which case you would fix the J, but you won't fix the 3. So you can delete the $ in front of the 3 and it will move down. Okay. But in this case, we want to fix both. So we want to fix it so that it's just one cell. So it multiplies one cell. So if I now copy this down, you can see that's 200, 300, 400, 500. So it will multiply like this. Okay. So that's the situation there. If you are going to fix a cell, you need to use $. All right, that will fix your reference. So relative referencing is when the formula gets copied and there's no $, the computer will automatically copy it. And absolute referencing, that's different. That is when you are linking it to a particular cell and this cell does not change. Right? It's fixed. That's why the $ are in front of the J and the 3. The J and the 3. Okay, so like I said before, once you've done something like this, all the changes are automatically saved to the drive. That's the quick and simple short version of what I want to show you how Google Sheets works. Just very quickly, the summary. You need formulas start with an equal sign. Formulas can be relative or they can be absolute when you reference it, when you put it in the formula. If it's absolute reference, that means it's fixed on one cell. If it's relative, it will move as the cells move up or down or left or right. Okay. Last thing is all changes will be saved on Google Sheets. And if you want to change the name of the sheet, you can change it here. You can click here and change the name of the sheets. Thank you very much for paying attention. If you have any questions, please ask.